All right, welcome to another episode from the Chart Reader. So I am doing a good mixed bag of viewer requests here. So we're gonna look at Finger again, and man, look at that candle yesterday. All right, that's clearly the big story there. Today was a nice day. Obviously, I mean, I was basically expecting a big green the other way, right? So yeah, I'll talk about. I was bullish on this day. I was so bullish on Monday that Tuesday was gonna do well. Clearly, it didn't. So I'm not. I'm louder about being wrong than getting things right. And yeah, this is one I'm gonna talk about. All right. I'm a little surprised people are still asking me about AVTX. That has actually fallen completely off my radar. I will be looking at it to live here, and we'll go from there. All right. EBET was brought up on the Discord today, so I'm going to cover that just because, again, I actually know what it is and it's fresh in my head. EBET is not looking good. And then GNS has not been looking good, but then it popped today on what I think was earnings. I saw a couple headlines that I couldn't quite tell, so I'll be asking the team here. And then, hey, if I've got some time, I want to throw in FEMY as well. I don't know if I'm getting a little too aggressive, but if I can cover it, I will. So before we go any further and I give you more of my thoughts and opinions, though, what are we going to do? Same thing we always do, right? We'll take a look at the daily and the weekly to see how these things are setting up short term. We have our 5 moving averages. There are horizontal support and resistance lines, as well as the occasional diagonal trend line that I do draw manually myself. And then when we are done up here, we'll use the MACD, RSI, and volume as our lower indicators. Hey, really quickly, if you can please subscribe to this channel, share this video online with your friends, comment good or bad. Look, anything you can do helps me so much with these YouTube algorithms, but for real, just being here, giving me the opportunity to talk to you all, I thank you so much already. So look, let's get into FNGR, and immediately I'm gonna start with, man, I was so optimistic on Monday. I made a video on Monday saying I feel like it's ready to go up. Clearly it drops almost 35% instead of going up as I expected it to. All right, so I'm going to start talking about why I thought Monday was good. We'll talk about what happens on Tuesday and then what we're seeing today. All right, but look, first and foremost, I got to talk about Monday again. If you look at Monday, the first thing I call out was there was some good volume here that we immediately basically see drop, right? The difference was RSI on this was at a 96. RSI on this was at a 90. RSI on this was at a 74. Like, those are high numbers that kind of signal we should be coming down. We then see a very similar uptrend, all right? However, we were at a beautiful RSI sitting at only 40 something. We now started to see the MACD recover, doing that same little peak we saw before the big run, right? Like, this looked good because we just broken the 20. We then do a nice confirmation, right? Like, there was the green, red, should have been a green up to at least this, right? I mean, there was so much to like going into Monday, but hey, I always say a technical analysis, even, and I'm telling you, like I did, right? Like, I moved my money using my better, even the one I call the one and that other one I called the two, like these better ones were also saying Monday, like these aren't crystal balls, right? Like, all we're doing here is trying to use the information we see, trying to use the information, like there's a lot, right? Like, I don't even use a quarter of these, but there are so many different indicators, so many, like, end of the day, all we're trying to do is see what we can. And when a company drops some news, no indicator stack's going to see that, all right, at all, right? Like, who's going to know that the PR is going to, no one, all right? So unfortunately, we are subject to news, all right? And the one thing I always say is I don't care about news until the lines tell me I should. And man, and you know what? Give me a second. I'm going to pause this. I'm going to show you the conversations. 1 second. Okay, I am back really quickly. This is a beautiful comment, and I swear I just happened to rant. I love it. So I typed in finger in our search, And really quickly, yesterday, like, I'm normally not awake this early, all right? Finger offering, I saw that as early as I can, and I was actually able to hit eject, right? Just Shard had actually put a really good comment that I'm not going to necessarily read, but look, he actually liked the offering, okay? And I think a little bit of that might have to do with today. We'll get back to that, right? But I mean, look, we like, this was one that was on our radar because there was a lot to like, okay? When news drops, what the market thinks matters more than what we think, all right? However, the one thing I always say is you kind of got to wait for confirmation. Even if you lose this many moving averages, right? And if we were to break 3, you know I would expect the confirmation to be up here. If we're going to lose 3, I'm expecting confirmation to be down here. The fact that we didn't come all the way down to $4.20 something cents, instead we're at $5.44, I mean, that's a pretty monstrous sign. The fact that and I'm zooming in for, like, we are actually over the line, and we're actually a penny over the line. You can see it. 544 was the close, 543 is the average 50, that red line right there, right? So we actually regained one of the 3 we lost, okay? If tomorrow can bring us into like 560-ish, lovely. If this gets over, let's just call it $6, no reason not to. I'm actually gonna set an alert for 603, 602, why not? If this gets back over 6, I am going to maintain the bullishness I think I had here, because I like that volume's actually still relatively holding, right? If we can get back, we were over all 5 moving averages. So hey, if we can get back here, we'll be back over all 5 moving averages. And obviously, if we can make a little run up, that MACD would recover, the RSI would recover, and I don't think the RSI would go too crazy because it's still a very healthy 40. Listen, I liked this on Monday. I was wildly disappointed, and I'm not going to go back in time, but at 570, wow, that was so dyslexic. At 750, I was able to actually hit eject on finger early enough to not swallow this whole thing. That at least I can honestly say, you know, but I'm watching this. I want to get back in it because, again, I don't think any other line matters except 757, all right? If we can break this line, it should be a quick ride up here. And again, I said this on the last couple videos, there was a lot of fake trading. And when I say fake, I mean shady. Like there were days with 0.00 volume for the entire day. You can see it in the box right there. Volume is average was 74 share, right? Like this is all poo-poo shares, okay? This is nothing, okay? This is the only line that matters. And if we break that, oh my goodness. FNGR. I think I did a pretty good job of not calling it finger. That was actually an advice. I'm not sure if I remembered well enough. But hey, let me know your thoughts and opinions. Again, all that matters right now is reclaiming these 3. Otherwise, we're coming back down to 420. All right, it's one of the two. I didn't look at the news. I don't know what the news was. I don't know the details. All I saw was it was an offering, right? But let's see what the market thinks, all right? Let me know your thoughts and opinions, all right? Next one is AVTX, and I will be on, ooh, I see why people are talking about this one again. All right, so look, AVTX has done some wild things, and once I zoom out, I mean, the problem is I for sure see this $2 line, and I know it's really, really hard to ignore this almost $3, 270 line. Listen, you cannot have $2 dreams on a 13-cent share. I know that I always say break the 8, go to the 20, break the 20, go to the 50, break the 50, go to the 100. I know that if we break all those, the 100 is sitting all the way up here at $1.11. You cannot have $1.11 dreams on a 13-cent stock, okay? There is, and lastly, this 50 moving average, I mean, to call it a near impossible, like this is not a good line. It's not a good line. It hasn't been a good line historically, actually. I wouldn't say horrible, but like since this point right here, we've essentially been under that line most of the time. This 50 ain't gonna be an easy break. We're now at what people call a wedge, all right? I am not a pattern chart trader, okay? Falling wedge, head and shoulders, double bottom. Man, I know the words. I actually am often asked my opinions on those, and it's really humbling. Like, I'm so appreciative when people ask me that. Like, I am not a pattern trader. I don't know if this is a good wedge or a bad wedge. I have no idea. What I do know is 3 moving averages. The 8, the 20, and the 50 are all a stone's throw away. They're all within a penny shot of each other. I'm going to click right here and you can see it. Average 8's at 14, average 20's at 13, average 50's at 14. There's a lot going on right here. It seems like we will either explode up and head towards maybe 17. Yeah, I don't think we'll go above 17. Or we will fall down and come to 12, if not even worse, and maybe actually, because yeah, there's not that much, right, between 12 and here. Yeah, I think if it comes down to 12, it actually might fall all the way. So I think those are the numbers. I think this has a good chance of falling to 10 cents or coming up to 17 cents, okay? I am not sure if this is going to break 20. I am not even like remotely even considering 35 cents until we see what happens with this 20 line, let alone what happens with the 50 moving at. So like even 35-cent dreams I think are a little ridiculous here. I think the immediate goal is 17 cents or the fear of dropping to 10 cents. That's is it 30%? I don't know if it's a little less than 30% because it's 1.13. Yeah, it's a little less, but again, it's a relatively big move up or down, and for me, I would rather not trade tomorrow. I would skip it, see if it goes up, see if it goes down, and either follow the up or avoid the down. That's my game, right? But hey, look, we've attempted the 50. We've attempted the 50. We've attempted the 50. We've attempted the 50. You can only hit a thing so many times before it eventually breaks, okay? At the same time, we've used the 20. We've used the 20. We've used the 20. You can only use a thing so many times before it falls, right? So they're literally both at the place where this is either going to give up, break, and we're going to fly. This is either going to give up, lose, we're going to die. And honestly, for me, I would rather play the continuation. I do not have a crystal ball here. I have no idea. Really, I don't. The MACD is actually still at a negative. The RSI is still going down. Volume's nothing spectacular. There is not enough information here for me to honestly make a good opinion. What I do know is we're either going to escape those or we're either going to fall from those. And hey, if you're a pattern trader, let me know what this wedge is telling you. I would actually really love to know it, all right? But yeah, AVTX, I get why people ask me about it today. I think we are knocking on the door of a really big move up, or this is going to continue to go into all-time lows like it knows how to. Once we hit 10 cents, it's not a far drop to 9 cents and then deep into the black hole of all-time lows, all right? So yeah, I don't even think we need to look at the weekly. Interesting, weekly. Ooh, I think I'm glad I looked here. What's yours? 13 cents. Damn, there's a really, really interesting line at 13. Again, I see that the 20s up do not have a dollar dream. But I see this red. That might be a couple weeks of green. MACD is just curving up, just came down. Still negative, but it's not that far from the dash. This one's interesting. This one might be worth looking at next week, actually. I don't know if these next couple days are going to do it, but hey, maybe that's kind of indicative that the next couple days will do it. I don't know. Excuse me. I think it's probably better to come here on Friday and see what happens. But yeah, like I said, I wouldn't play tomorrow. I wouldn't. I would wait for the follow through and go from there. And again, I think that screams to the weekly. AVTX, let me know your thoughts or opinion. I'm glad this one came back on my radar. I was not going to be looking at it, but I think I'm glad I will be now. EBET. This is going to be really quick, all right? You know I am not here to spread fear. I am not here to tell you what to do with your money. I rarely tell you what I do with my money, all right? Like, All I can honestly say is there is very little to like here. There's actually almost absolutely nothing to like here, all right? First and foremost, we are well under all 5 moving averages. Break all 5 and you can fly, lose all 5 and you will die. And that's exactly what happened. From there, look, this is a doji on a very important line. The day after the doji is very telling. That was the day after the doji. It makes complete sense to me that we lost another roughly 40% after that, going from $1 to 60 cents, right? You just lost 40 cents right there in a blink of an eye, right? We just came off of a 1 to 30 reverse split. The MACD is seemingly going more and more negative and negative as we diverge the wrong way. Volume has been pathetically bad. Like, there is absolutely nothing to like up here, right here, right here, and right here. That's not good. All right? Like, that's not good. Right? So I would very much stress caution, excuse me. The last thing I'm going to show, because it's easier to see it. We are deep into all-time lows. Like, all-time lows on the weekly actually that was the line. It was 122 on the weekly, right? So big red candle, RSI was super low, came back up just so that it can go back down again, in my opinion, under all the moving averages on the weekly, under all the moving averages on the daily. Bad, 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 bad. There is almost nothing to like on EBET. I don't have too much more to say here. You know, if you disagree with me, I'm not going to hate on you. I would love to hear your thoughts, all right? But if this was to maybe go up, maybe it'll come to 90 something, and that's a really, really big move up. It is, right? And again, it's basically a red to green. That said, aside from any sympathy recoveries, I see no reason to believe good things here, legitimately. Because look, we've seen it. It went really, really low, does a silly little pop-up, right? It makes sense. All right. I think the RSI might need to go just a little bit lower before we think that. Like maybe Friday we'll do a little sympathy pop, but yeah, there's not a lot to like on EBET. All right. Let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, let me move into GNS. Okay. GNS. All right, couple things. Definitely not a good thing when you are under all 5 moving averages. It does look like the 75-cent line was able to do what it was like. That's what a support line does, right? It supports, and hey, we were able to at least get caught right there. I'm not sure if there was earnings today. I think there was at least some news today, because I saw something about GNS gaining more students. I'm actually opening my phone right now to see what headlines I can see. So sorry if my voice is stuttering. Yeah, it looks like there was an earnings transcript actually. So hey, they did have an earnings. The earnings per share was down, but sales was up. Okay, if you watch my Tilray video, I do say that earnings per share is probably the biggest thing that matters. So to be down on earnings per share but still have a relatively good day, that's a little interesting in my book, okay? The one important thing to say is there are way too many moving averages here for me. If we can get into like 106, 107 is where I'm going to set my alert. If we can hit 107, I'll start to believe we might want to go into 170. However, I really don't want to trade in that thick right there. That's a little too. That's 4 of the 5 moving averages, man. That's a little too thick for me. So, RSI doesn't look horrible. MACD is not too far from the negative line. From the cracking into the positive line. Volume's been really bad. That's an easy thing to see. But for me, I think it's hard to not look at anything else but those 4 moving averages. Break the 50, I'm in. Stay under the 50. It's really hard to swallow a reason to like it here. All right, so let me look at the weekly really quickly. That's not a great weekly. Hopefully some things can turn around, but we're actually under too many lines on the weekly, right? Obviously under them all on the daily. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. That was a little quick, but there's not too much more to say here, actually. Let's lastly look at FEMY. Yeah, I think this will be the last one. Okay, FEMY. Okay, first off, I did not ride this, all right? I wish I did. I couldn't do it. It happens, right? I made a comment right here that I didn't like this day, okay? This is a doji candle that wicked a resistance at a very high RSI. RSI was 90. It made a lot of sense to me that the day after the doji would be bad and we would get another confirmation, candle. Today, I think a lot of people are looking at a negative 8% day. I'm looking at a really good day. And I say really good, actually, like very seriously. Today was a really good day, okay? I'll get to that shortly, all right? But again, high RSI needs to cool off. I want to zoom out a little bit. Where are we? All right, we've been here. It seems like this is a little bit of the more common line. It looks like mid 50s is a little more common than mid 60s, okay? Why did I like today? I like today because we actually open down here at 192, but we go all the way up to 230. That's money in the bank. Most people actually made money today than they lost money today, okay? The second thing is we at least were able to hold the 8 moving average. Look, good things happen when you're over the 8 and the 20. We're still over the 8 and the 20. Good things happen when the 8's going up and the 20's going up. We're still having that here. Good things happen on golden crosses, and that's a golden cross, that's a golden cross, that's a golden cross. That's a nice little rhyme right there. I don't know if anyone heard that or not, but yeah, those are like, there are good things still happening here. Going from a 90 to a 60 gives me a little reason to believe, yeah, we actually might come back to an 80, maybe. Do I think we're going to break 302? I don't know. I don't know. And what I want to do is zoom out. Where did I get this line from? Okay, let me zoom in a little bit. Where is this line? There's a horizontal here. I'm going to draw that. I don't know if we're going to get over this. Okay, this might be a little bit of a wall. But what I really want to have happen is the 8. Okay, right now, the way that this works is if you lose the 8, you're going to come down to the 20. Losing the 8 and dropping all the way to the 20 is a 50% loss. You can see it in the box over there. You're going to go from $2 to $1. You're literally going to drop. That's disgusting. That is not a safe use of the 8 and the 20, all right? What I want to have happen is these two lines to at least start catching up to each other, all right? If this can go up just a little bit more, even if it comes to here, that should be enough to drag this up. And again, hopefully this distance gets smaller. Let's look at finger really quickly, the one I started with, all right? FNGR. You can see there are moments, right, where, dude, the 8 and the 20 get so far from each other. And literally, if you lose the 8 and you drop all the way down, like, that's horrible. That's not what you want. But if it's something like this, where it's up, like, that's still a relative, like you get it though, right? Like, going from here to here is better than going from here to here, right? So what we do need with FEMY is a smaller gap between these two so that if we drop from here, we'll come here. I think it's worth raising this line. I think this is now an important line. I do. Where's the top of that? Oh, it looks like there's a horizontal back here. There is. There's a little something. I'll raise it to that. Maybe this 152 would catch it if we fell. Maybe. But I would expect if we fell from the 8, we would come to the 20. And again, that's way too big a gap for me, all right? Again, I think there's reason to believe that today regained it. Hopefully tomorrow can come up to like 245, 246, 250. Hopefully 250 then goes to 3. And if we can go slow and steady over the next 2 days, but still relatively up, that might be able to bring the 20 up, and then it'll be a little bit healthier. I hope that made sense. If it didn't, let me know. But one more time, today was a good day. I am not seeing a negative 8%. I am not seeing an almost 10% loss. I'm seeing a recovery of the 8. I'm seeing a stock that opens down here and closes up here, trying to crawl its way back to 50%. Actually, for a moment, was really well too, right? So FEMY, I didn't like it this day. it made sense that we came down here. It now is making me kind of wonder if we're going to come back up there. And look, from 230, you're adding almost 30%, right? You're adding 20, 20, 20, basically 60 cents right there, right? So let me know your thoughts and opinions. Otherwise, you know it. Hey, thank you.